Yeah. I know people who have 5,000 hours in the league and they've been playing it for like 3 years, and it's like, I can only imagine how much time you guys must have put into it. But that time into it must have its toll on your body as well, because we've seen people in Overwatch League itself, they've had to have players benched because wrist problems. Obviously, they're playing with high sensitivity mouses, mice for 14 hours, 16 hours a day.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the effects of your investment of time and effort into competitive gaming, the toll it's taken on you?
I mean, like, realistically, when Nintendo made this game, they did not make it with people like us in mind to, like, use this controller, like, pretty much to its limits, and also for, like, absurd amounts of hours a day. I think esports wasn't even that big of a thing in, like, 2001.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Even when it became a thing, Nintendo didn't want to admit it. So.
It's true. But, yeah, I think that, like, games like this would be perfectly fine if you played it all your life on a casual level, but then the developer isn't really thinking about, well, what happens if someone is, like, completely insane and just, like, takes this game to, like, some whole different world.
Yeah, what if people start cutting notches in my controller?
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, like, I actually, like, developed arthritis in my left thumb from playing this game. That was why I had to go and develop, like, this digital controller. And, I mean, it makes sense. Like, the game encourages, like, non-stop jerky motions with the left analog stick. You can go back and forth to make your character move back and forth as quickly as possible, upwards of 30 times a second. Like, the game will theoretically, you know, obviously no one's getting 30 times a second, but in theory, that is actually, that can move your character back and forth as fast as the game permits. So it's like the fact that that's encouraged is kind of, disaster is kind of just imminent at that point. Like, people are gonna want to win at this game, and push it to that point.
Yeah. And you were mentioning earlier, doing the back-to-back movements builds up that dust. You get that extra frame of advantage on your opponent. To be the best, you're gonna have to make every little movement count. Yeah,
no, there's like definitely competitive advantages to doing this stuff that isn't like ergonomically good for you. Some characters, like their entire metagames are like founded on these techniques.
Right.
It's like you must go for like the motion that involves like an extra 2, like the technique that involves like an extra 2 like thumb flicks for it to work. So it's kind of like, ironically, digital inputs are like the only like humane way to play the game, just because the engine is so ridiculous.
That's so wild.
Yeah, like I wonder if you could, I'm pretty sure you could ask the creators of Melee and be like, so did you ever have an inkling of an idea that this is what was going to happen? And, you know, I guess bringing it to the current day now, do you think that they're going to be developing the coming Smash games with esports in mind, or you think they're going to continue to cater to the casual audiences?
I think it would be a very missed opportunity if they didn't strike some sort of a balance, because I think the games that last the longest are definitely games like, although last the longest may not necessarily, equal money, but the games that last the longest are definitely the ones that appeal to both of those demographics. And some of the recent entries in the Smash Brothers series, well, Super Smash Brothers 3 Brawl that came out in 2008 had like so many mechanics that were very clearly intended to prevent you from playing the game in a competitive way.
Really?
Yeah, it had things that pretty much outright made it impossible to do a lot of the advanced techniques that made Melee like great on a competitive level. People ironically still competed in that game. So it's like there's no stopping people from competing in any game you make.
They like the game, they're gonna compete in it.
Yeah. Super Smash Bros. 4 was like, it's literally called Super Smash Bros. 4. That one doesn't really have a name, but that one was like definitely a step in the right direction. At this point, 2018, well, that game came out in 2014. We don't really expect games to be as hardcore as Melee anymore, but I do think they got the memo that it's better to strike some sort of a balance rather than go outright casual and like put all these things in the game that are meant to prevent you from doing those things. Now, the telling thing is that with the consoles those games came out for, like the Wii, the Wii U, and the Switch now, the rest of the games were kind of developed with similar philosophies. Like the Wii was by far the most casual console of all time.
Oh yeah.
It was marketed for like really young people and really old people.
Yeah, like a fitness tool at some point.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah, no, this was like Nintendo just did like a 180 and just kind of tossed out like their hardcore 90s audience. And it was appalling because like the 90s wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Like when the Wii came out.
I like to think so, at least.
No, I mean like when the Wii came out.
Yeah.
It was like that audience was still like in their teenage years expecting.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, expecting the next like Super NES, N64, GameCube. And we just got this like console that almost all of us, you know, we saw where they were going, but we hated it. Then the Wii U. I mean, this console flopped for so many reasons, but it definitely felt less casual than the Wii, at least. And you know that might be that's probably reflective of like the Smash 4 philosophy. Now the Switch is like their most successful console in a long time, if not ever. I don't know the statistic, but from what I'm hearing about games like Galaxy and Breath of the Wild, these feel the most like those 90s Nintendo's games that I'm talking about. That's what I've heard. I've never played. I don't own a Switch. I've actually never played the Switch, but I've only heard good things about the Switch from people who have the same taste in games as I do. So maybe it's a sign that they're heading in that kind of direction even further.
Yeah, maybe.
Awesome.
I'm hoping. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
They can always make a return to glory. So
yeah,
that's it.
So are you going to be playing Smash when it comes out?
No.
Oh, man, dude.
Very nice, very nice. That's it for the Leaderboard Esports. Hacks, where can people follow you about your life and keep up to date with all your internet, wrongdoings?
So you can follow me at twitter.com/ssbmhacks. I'll be posting a ton of news about the controller that I'm designing, the box, in the coming weeks. And this controller is going to function both as the digital controller that I explained throughout this interview, as well as an analog controller. You'll be able to plug in a Nintendo Wii nunchuck and play pretty much any game with the box, or you'll be able to use its digital side to do the same thing. So this controller will basically function as a generic gamepad, which will also have intricately designed patches for games like Super Smash Bros. Melee. So I'm sure anyone who checks it out will really love it.
That's awesome.
That's going to be sweet. Well, you guys know where to follow him. Keep your eyes peeled for the box controller because it's going to be making waves for sure. It sounds awesome. Well, I'm Jimmy Jimbasco.
And I'm Judy Jetset.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell icon in the top right corner to become part of our notification squad today. We're going to be putting up videos quite frequently, so you're going to want to hit that bell icon because you're going to want to know when these videos are coming out. That's all for tonight. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching.